Hello, friends. You're watching NFL Daily. I am Tom Downey. That is Mitchell Renz. The Odell Beckham trade rumors are back because time is a flat circle, and now they start to make a lot more sense with the report from Jay Glazer that Odell Beckham has told opposing coaches and players in the Earl Thomas method, hey, come get me, and he wants to be traded from the Browns, Mitch.
I mean, Jay's not the only one talking to me. Mary Kay Cabot of theCleveland.com reported on Saturday that she thought that OBJ wasn't being used correctly, and I don't know if that's 100% true. I do think that OBJ deserves a little bit of blame here, but I mean, considering the fact that we are already talking about Odell Beckham Jr. and him potentially wanting out of Cleveland, maybe he just wants out of Cleveland. I mean, it's Cleveland, Tom. I understand, where you're from.
I certainly think Beckham is frustrated by his production and his injury and the fact that the Browns are bad.
Both of them. I mean, you also have to consider the fact that he's been in the playoffs one time, and it just has not been good. It has not been what we were hoping for.
It's been a down year for him.
I mean, if you drafted OBJ in fantasy this year, I'm sorry, it's probably you're kicking yourself in the butt. Now, when you look at the last 4 years, definitely a little bit different. I mean, I think ever since he had those first few good years, it's not been the same.
No, and I think also it's partially the scheme. Eli Manning kind of force-fed it to Odell Beckham. The Browns have spread things around a little bit more. And he's been banged up. He has that sports hernia. That's a huge factor. And banged up in 2017 was, productive enough in 2018. But Odell Beckham's always been a bit of a distraction, for lack of a better word. And I don't think that's helping things here either.
So we're talking about OBJ and the trade rumors. And Chris Mortensen came out and said that there is no way OBJ is traded. Browns official laughed at the idea. I laugh at that people actually in today's world still say that there is no way of it happening. What did Dave Gettleman say? There's no way we're going to trade OBJ. What happens just a freaking month later? OBJ is traded. Now, there's also more reports that the Browns wouldn't get a first for him. But don't know if I agree.
Mohamed Sanu went for a second-round pick.
Thank you.
I feel like that was... I think the Browns are trying to stop this train as best they can because they don't want to trade Odell Beckham.
Of course not.
Because of what they gave up for him, right?
Exactly.
I mean, this also got them Olivier Vernon, which was mostly the Kevin Zeitler pick, but you gave up a pretty big haul. A top 20 pick, Jabril Peppers, a former first-round pick, and a third. That's a lot, Mitch.
That's
I know,
a ton.
I said something weird.
I know you said something weird. But see, you're not going to get this return. That's why the whole idea that he's never going to get traded, it's why it's being reported. But let me tell you one thing right now. Anything is possible. Anything is possible.
Thanks, Kevin Garnett.
You got it. So type your votes here. What should the Browns do with OBJ? Type T for trade, type K for keep. What do you do?
You keep him and you try to make this work. And I know it's a little bit of the sunk cost fallacy, but you've given up so much. You trade him now, you're not going to get as much as you gave up for a year rental of Odell Beckham. That's bad value. If I'm the Browns, I am keeping him, and I'm saying, hey, we're going to make this work. It'll be fine.
All right, so what should the Browns do with OBJ? Type T for trade or type K for keep. Now, Tom, you and I both know that the NFL trade deadline has passed, but we also know that NFL trade rumors, they pop up all the time.
The nature of it.
And I don't mean to brag. Actually, you know what? I am going to brag. We have a pretty solid track record breaking down some of these trade rumors. Do you remember, earlier in the offseason when we talked about Jadeveon Clowney trade destinations? Guess what? You see the name that he's looking at? The Seahawks. Yeah. They were on our list. Tom and I are pretty damn good at this. Now, also, 7 NFL players that could be traded. Tom and I are going to be breaking down a whole bunch of trade rumor videos the entire offseason so that you make sure you guys don't miss any. You can click that subscribe button, turn the notifications on, because guess what? When a trade goes down, we go live, and that's when the shows are a lot of fun. So make sure you guys subscribe to Chat Sports, youtube.com/ChatSportsTV. Now, what we're doing here, Tom, the top 5 OBJ trade destinations in 2020. The Philadelphia Eagles, you might laugh at this.
They love to be aggressive, though.
They do like to be aggressive.
I'm not laughing about that. I'm laughing at one of the commenters.
But they've been disappointing this season, and if you're going to pay Carson Wentz a ton of money, and yet he just doesn't have any reliable options.
Alshon's not right, by the way. We haven't really.
He hasn't been healthy, I feel like, in 5 years.
And even when he's on the field, he hasn't been right. Nelson Aguilar sucks. So,
well, it's not his fault he can't catch.
His burner account's pretty good.
He is. He literally can't catch the football. Now, here you can look at the Eagles' wide receiver depth chart. Obviously, OBJ is the number 1 wide receiver if he comes on this team, but it's very thin Deshaun Jackson, they try to add him in the offseason to help Carson Wentz. He's been unable to stay healthy. So when you think about what potentially the Eagles would have to give up to go out and get OBJ, I think it's pretty interesting. The other thing that's interesting, the Eagles play the Browns and they play the Giants next year.
Revenge game!
3 of them. You get 3 revenge games. So what we did here is we threw together some OBJ trade proposals. So the Eagles, Tom, they get OBJ. The Browns.
Are you going to make me say it?
Yep.
So the last name is easy, Mitch. It's just
Big V.
It's Vaitai.
Uh-huh.
The first name is Halapuli Vaitai. That's his full name.
Somebody spelled that without looking.
Oh, it's on the screen. They can spell it.
I don't even know if I can spell it.
The 2 A's throws you off every time.
So the Browns, they get Big V and a 2020 second-round pick.
Halapuli Vaitai.
The Eagles, they get Odell Beckham Jr. So that's the trade projection. If you guys like our trades while we go through this video, I want you to say, yes, I like it, or no, I don't. Let's go to the number 4 team, Tom, shall we?
The San Francisco 49ers, who have been linked to Odell Beckham in the past. Several of you had mentioned this before. In the comments, I should say live right now. The Niners, I think it makes some sense, Mitch. I think a lot of it depends on what ends up happening with Emmanuel Sanders.
And I'm kind of glad that you allude to that. So right now, Emmanuel is the number 1 wide receiver, and he is going to be a free agent in 2020. My entire idea of this, though, is let's just say the 49ers don't win the Super Bowl. I think they might actually, I don't want to say panic, but they might be like, man, what is the reason why we didn't get to the Super Bowl? Their defense is elite, and yes, I get it. They just put up an absolutely crazy game against the Saints. But this is an unbelievably tough division. It's unbelievably tough conference in general right now. And when I think of what Kyle Shanahan wants, I think he wants a wide receiver just like OBJ. I think it'd be a lot of fun.
He would thrive in San Francisco, I think.
Oh, my God, the X receiver. If Pierre Garçon can get 113 catches in a Kyle Shanahan offense, OBJ should get 211. So here's the trade proposal we threw together. Now, there was that report that they wouldn't be able to get a first-round pick. The way that Tom and I kind of looked at it was like, okay, if you don't win the Super Bowl and you need to be able to make a clear difference on your team.
Also, I think he's worth one.
Well, you also have to consider, I mean, the 49ers' first-round pick is going to be probably in the later
Let's
half.
say 29 even,
Okay.
if that's what they want to go. And I'll also throw this in there. They don't have a pick outside of the first round in rounds 2, 3, or 4. So you kind of got to make it your first-round pick.
So OBJ to
There you
the
go.
49ers, which I would say right now would be unbelievably entertaining. And
Yeah.
Thomas Mott, his hair would probably fall off. And then the Browns, they receive a 2020 first-round pick. So how about this question? I'll let you say it. I got to itch my nose.
Yeah, go ahead and itch your nose and let
What's
me
wrong with
host.
me?
Would you want your favorite team to trade for Odell Beckham? Y for yes, N for no. I'm not going to let you answer this, Mitch. Hint, hint on the Raiders. I'll answer this from the Cowboys. It doesn't make sense. I've seen some commenters live. I get why you want them. I saw someone throw out first and a second for Michael Gallup. No, you guys can't run your organization that way. You cannot pay. I get it. Cooper and Odell Beckham would be the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, but you're going to pay Cooper like $20 million. You're going to be paying Odell Beckham like $18 million. You can't invest $40 million between 2 receivers. That's not good use of your capital there. Plus, you got to give up assets. Just pay Cooper and roll with an improving Gallup. And a
Beast Mode said OBJ is not a team player. Do you agree with that?
I think there is examples of him not being a team player.
Okay.
I will answer with a non-answer.
Sounds good.
Today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code on your screen, NFL120. It gets you a 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, they're going to give you $60 for free. That's chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code NFL120 for a 120% deposit bonus. Mitch, you're not going to find a better betting deal out there.
No, and in fact, we always say, I challenge you to find a better one. Seriously, try to find a better deal. You're not going to put it down 100, get 120 for free.
Also, someone says Michael Gallup sucks. Michael Gallup has more yards and more touchdowns on fewer receptions than Odell Beckham this year. Just throwing that out there. Just throwing it out there.
All right, Tom. Number 3 team on our OBJ trade destinations, it's the Seattle Seahawks. For the exact same idea that we kind of pitched before for the 49ers, if the Seahawks don't win, maybe you got to make a difference because the 49ers, they're a legit team. The Rams, they're a legit team. The NFC right now is filled with a ton of talent. And Russell Wilson plus OBJ, man, That would be so entertaining. Plus, we know if OBJ is a little bit of a diva, you got a strong locker room there. Pete Carroll is a player's coach. But let's think about this. You want to talk about just an overall athletic wide receiver group. Now, I like Tyler Lockett. I actually think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. You tell me a more physically gifted wide receiver group than DK Metcalf, Josh Gordon, Tyler Lockett, and then...
And I don't even know what the future would hold for Gordon.
No, I mean,
because
he's on
those
a
6
one-year.
catches he's got's really helping out Seattle so far.
But I'm saying from a physically...
Gifted. Oh, yeah, it's incredible.
It would be insane.
Metcalf on the outside, rotate Lockett, OBJ. That's such a great grouping there for
the Seattle
for
Seahawks
Wilson.
might just start playing skins if that's the
Also,
case.
those backup receivers suck, so you got to get better options in there.
So more
It's just
options
they're
there. So the Seattle Seahawks, they would receive OBJ. And the Browns, they get a 2021st. Same idea that we came up with before. It's a later pick. Now, the Seahawks, they gave away a ton of picks. And I feel like every single time we do, we're with them in
They
the draft.
got him back from Frank Clark a little bit, so they'll be okay.
They'll be okay?
And then they would trade down in round 2 because they love to acquire assets.
Do you guys like that trade? Seahawks, they receive OBJ. The Browns, they get a 2020 first-round pick.
Now, who's the best team in the NFC West? You can argue the Rams. I don't really think we're going to argue that, but they beat the Seattle Seahawks after all. The Niners lead the division, but they also lost to the Seattle Seahawks, so transitive property says the Rams. That's not how anything works. So, Mitch, who's the best team in the NFC West?
Oh, if you would have asked me this question last week. All right, we can do it on 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, Niners.
49ers.
Okay, good, you got it right. Good job.
If you would have asked me this last week, I would have said the Seahawks. But the Seahawks came out this past week and laid an absolute stinker. And after what I watched, the 49ers are... The Ravens have been great.
Yep.
The fact that the 49ers just went into New Orleans and won the way that they did, I think the 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now.
Number 2, then. Keep your comments coming. The Oakland Raiders, Mitch, all the way up at number 2.
All the way up at number 2 because the Raiders need a number 1 wide receiver, and we all know that they're willing to take chances on divas, FAB. But you can't tell me that Las Vegas and OBJ would not make headlines, and if you're a franchise that's trying to get some new fans maybe to Vegas, that would do a lot for you. Now, you have Tyrell Williams, Zay Jones, Keelan Doss. It's not pretty right now for
That's
Oakland.
not good.
Then you just lost Foster Moreau.
You'll get Renfro back, I guess.
You will get Renfro back, but still, Hunter Renfro to me is an okay slot receiver. Keelan Doss was a UDFA. Zay Jones, Tyrell Williams, obviously not going to help. And if you have all these questions around a quarterback, if you don't have a number 1 receiver, you need to be able to figure out what Derek Carr is and what you need to do. So here's the trade proposal that we threw together. The Raiders get OBJ and a 2020 second because they don't have a second-round pick. And the Browns get a 2020 first-round pick. Now, the Raiders have 2 first-rounders.
Yeah.
So for anybody that's like, oh, Mitch, why would you give up a first-rounder? I mean, OBJ and a second-round pick, I think this is actually great value for the Raiders.
Just to add some extra clarity here on what this trade actually ends up looking like, you get probably a mid-second-round pick back, giving up a mid-first-round pick. The difference in the value there ends up being a late first-round pick.
Okay.
So that's really what you're giving up if you want to look at it that way. I think that's about right for Odell Beckham. Plus, you have a first and you get a second-round pick back as well.
All right, you're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. We got over right now, 650 people watching us?
Mm-hmm.
It's impressive. Very impressive. So let's go to our number 1 team here, the New England Patriots. We know that the offense has been struggling. Tom Brady, I don't know if he's elite enough to really truly be able to carry a team unless they have a great defense. Now, we know that they signed AB. And they released him. But OBJ
because
to the Pats.
It's Antonio Brown.
Sure, I get it.
FAB in the comments.
FAB is always welcome. But OBJ to the Pats just screams Bill Belichick. It just screams everything that they would do. And
the Patriots
it
would
makes
love
too
to
much
get
sense.
him. I also wonder if the Browns would be like, no, we're never trading you to the Patriots. Which I think we've seen before. That's what the Steelers basically did with Antonio Brown as well. But if you can bring him in, you have Mohamed Sanu, Edelman, you can keep bringing along N'Keal Harry a little bit slower. That's a really good fit. I think the Browns would demand at least a first-round pick from Mitch.
And I also think the Patriots would be okay. I mean, your window is Tom Brady. And if you're like, okay, if they don't win the Super Bowl this year, Patriot fans, who, by the way, were booing this past week, what
The
more do
offense
y'all
is bad.
want? It is bad, but what more do you want? Get out of here. So maybe if the Patriots don't win the Super Bowl, you go out and you trade for OBJ. Now, here are our top 5 teams to get OBJ. Number 1, the New England Patriots. Number 2, the Oakland Raiders. Number 3, the Seattle Seahawks. 4, the 49ers. And 5, the Philadelphia Eagles. You're watching NFL Daily by Chat Sports. So if traded, where's he going to go?
I want to say the Raiders because that'd be fun. If he actually does get dealt and Tom Brady's still in New England, I think that ends up being the case.
Okay.
Which I don't really want to see in the end. But you thinking Patriots too, Mitch?
I'm hoping Raiders.
Okay.
I'm hoping Raiders.